3 o'clock is, I see Mrs. Johnson. Griff, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Mr. Hunter, you on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So it is 3 o'clock. We are going to call the meeting to order. As we all know, this is the work session in preparation for tomorrow council meeting, which we will go over. And as we all know, the council meeting is up at the Martin Allied Park Community Center. So with that said, the meeting is called to order. No action is taken. And at this time, I'd like to call on Councilman Gordy to lead us with the invocation. Mr. Gordy.
All right, let's pray. Dear Lord, we just thank you for this day, Lord, and we thank you for an opportunity to serve you and to worship you and to just follow your will, Lord. We just thank you for the opportunity for the positions you put us in to serve our community, to serve the citizens of this great city. Lord, I just pray that you help us to not take that lightly, Lord, and to just do your will in all that we do, to, make the decisions we make, whether it's at work or at council or wherever we are, Lord, that we put you first in all that we do, that our hope and our trust is in you. Father, I pray that throughout this world, Lord, that during the times that we are struggling with the pandemic, with the struggles in the world, the division in the world, that Father, that we always remember to put you first. Father, I just thank you for this great city, Phenix City. I thank you for the people that you surrounded me with in this council and this department heads and the city manager and city clerk, Lord, and city attorney. Just people are amazing. And I thank you for that. I pray that you help us to just move forward like we have been, just doing your will. It's in Jesus' name I pray all of these things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Gordy. So at this time, we do have two persons, both from the East Alabama Chamber of Commerce. And I'm hoping that they're on, Mr. Dennis Beeson and Mrs. Gaunt, Melissa Gaunt. Are you all there? Hello?
Let me check and see if they're on.
Okay. They have confirmed.
They did. They
Yes.
Miss Melanie, did they send a presentation over?
Mr. Beeson, I'm not sure if he's going to share that or not. Y'all can ask him and see. I emailed that around to y'all.
Okay, he should be on now.
Okay, this is Dennis.
All right, Mr. Beeson, you're there?
Yes, sir.
What about Melissa?
Well, I know as of last Friday, she was a little bit under the weather, and I don't know if she's gotten better or not.
Okay. Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on prayers. So with that, we're going to turn it over to you. Okay, thank you all. I appreciate you. I'm going to be very brief. I just want to go over the things that we did in 2020 and just a little foreshadowing of 2021. You should have received via email a copy of the just the things that the accomplishments I feel that we went through in 2020. And then privately, the city council folks should have received a copy of a presentation and assessment that we received, as well as the city manager. So I don't want to go into that in too much detail because I think it's got a little bit of confidentiality to it, and I'd like to keep it maybe off the television or the newspaper if possible. So our annual dinner last year, quite a few of you were there. You saw James Blanchard speak, and for the third year in a row, we had sold out the event, and we were still meeting in person at that point. It was probably one of the last few events that were in person at that time. We were able to graduate our leadership classes. We did wait until May, and we did get together to graduate 20 adult graduates and 13 of the youth graduates. And I always continue to thank you folks for being so open to our leadership folks to come in and feed us lunch and talk to them and give them some great advice. So thank you for that. One of the big things that I did for the essentially 6 weeks that I was here without any staff, I did have to furlough 2 staff people during the height of the COVID close downs. And one of those people came back, and one of the positions we did end up eliminating, unfortunately. But I spent most of my time reaching out to members and anybody that called with information, articles, links, grant opportunities, things for the small business loans and the PPP loans. I've met in consultation with folks. There was quite a bit of reassurance that just went on to continue to tell people that we will get through this and help them through for our businesses in the city and in the region. So as most of you know, this has been a tough year for everybody. From a chamber perspective, at the moment, we sit at about 372 members. Prior to COVID, we were up to almost 390. So we have lost some businesses. We've lost some businesses that have closed, unfortunately, and we've also lost some businesses that have just decided that they cannot afford any extracurricular events in things like chambers and things. So I feel pretty good, though. We did communicate and connect with a lot of folks. We gave a lot of information, and I heard a lot of good feedback that everybody seemed to be working in concert together, from the city, the county, the state, even the nation. A lot of opportunities, but it's still a struggle. Our young professionals group, which is called the YEAP, Young East Alabama Professionals, we pretty much held in-person events up until about March, and then of course everything kind of shut down. But that is an organization that's within our group that focuses on information for 21 to 40-year-olds. So again, we're trying to continue to populate and grow leaders and get engagement from young people to keep working with the city. We did complete the bench project as far as Dillingham to 13th Street goes. One of those benches does have the city of Phenix City, positively Phenix City on it. And at some point in time in life, we hope that it'll clear up so that we can actually do a dedication ceremony with the city council folks and the city manager to go down there and dedicate that bench. But pretty proud of that project. 12 benches replaced, and I've actually had a request for another bench. Did a little bit of recon, and I see that in front of where the art park is now, there's some of the benches that are a little bit dated as well. And at some point I may ask to see if we can replace one or two of those for you as well. We did a great thing that I'm very proud of. We still have some money available too for a few businesses, but we did a small business relief grant fund. We reached out to some of the larger manufacturers in the region. We had a great response. We got about $20,000 donated, and we reached out to businesses that were specifically affected by the pandemic, where they actually had to close to some degree or were almost completely closed. We looked at a lot of the service organizations. We looked at various groups. We targeted folks. We did $1,000 grants. They're not expected to be paid back. They were to be used for anything business related, keeping their lights on, paying their rent, doing whatever we needed to do to help them stay in business. I feel pretty proud of the fact we kept things very diversified as well. Of the 14,000 that we've currently given out, 7 of those businesses are minority-owned businesses, and one of those businesses is a veteran-owned business. So we continue to have a little bit of money left. Believe it or not, we actually had people that we tried to give applications to and money to, and they just didn't fill out their applications. So we are still working on that, and we're continuing to work on people that are 15 employees or less. And the truth of the matter is most of those businesses were 5 employees or less. So they were truly the small business that received those grants. We did hold a military economic development event where we brought in a consultant. Some of you met him. His name was Barry Albrecht. Some of you had a chance to see him speak at the Idle Center, which again, I would like to thank you for your partnership and letting us have that event there. It was a great event, and we had a good turnout. And I think everybody would agree we kept to the CDC guidelines and spread everybody out and had a nice event. I have, as I mentioned earlier, I've emailed that to Mr. Hunter and the city council folks and Sean. At any point when you want to read through that, if you have any questions, let me know. I think there's some good tidbits as far as where to actually go out and seek some business opportunities in there. There's some good links, and I think there's some good advice. That was a very high level, about a 50,000 foot level
report, so it didn't get into minutia and complete details. And if it's something that we want to do from a city perspective or a regional perspective cooperatively, I'd love to talk about it and figure out how we can do it. Our visitors center insisting with interest in the region. So of course, we're not officially the CVB anymore, but I still believe we represent a visitor's interest here. Many people come here automatically, not people that are just visiting the city, but those that are actually coming to live here. We have probably at least sometimes 2 people a day that come in thinking that we're the water department. And we talk to them and tell them a little bit about things other than water if they would like to know. And then we, of course, politely redirect them down to the water department to get their things taken care of. Of course, we know this past year, our events were completely wiped out for all intents and purposes. I appreciate Daryl Winowich at Chattahoochee Brewing Company trying to keep some small events going. We did help promote some of his events, and sounds like he had a pretty rough couple of months through December and January. And so I think he's through the hard times. He's getting a little bit of flow of business back, but we sure hope that he stays in business, and because he's created a nice little side venue there as well. But we do have maps. We do have promotional items. We have bags of plastic bags if people come into town and want things. So we're still doing those things and trying to help out. We did have our golf outing last September. It was a great turnout. Thanks to Mike and his crew again. They did a phenomenal job of welcoming us there and making sure we had everything we needed. That particular event saw $5,160 go back to Lakewood Golf Course in fees. So again, it's a great partnership where we're allowed to use that golf course for the day, but I think it's a good trade-off for profit for the Lakewood crew. So the last item that I'd like to talk about are a thing called targeted advisory groups. These groups are designed to simply be areas of communication. They're ways to bring some people together to talk, have conversations, open conversations. And we've tried very hard to invite a variety of people from everywhere, city, county, Smith Station. We've even got some folks in some of the areas from the state conversing. We've got Fort Benning involved in our military group. Our economic community development, that's what ECD stands for. We did do, again, in partnership with our military government tag, the event that I talked about with Barry Albrecht. We do have a regional video in the works right now that we're working on to try to create something that can be broken apart into small bits and pieces where people want to use just segments of it. But again, from economic development standpoint, although you guys are the city and we love the city and you're the major person here, when businesses and industries are looking, they do look across borders, they look across state lines, they look across county lines, and they want to know what's happening in the region. So we're going to try to pull something together that really gives us a good snapshot. Our education tag meets, again, all these tags meet every other month. So not to overburden people with redundant meetings. But our education group talks about what we can do to help all 3 schools, including Glenwood. And we're starting to try to have conversations with Smith Station High School as well, again, from a regional perspective. But our marketing, and we're talking about marketing and regionally and promoting the image that we have the best K through 12 program anywhere, and especially from the standpoint of 2 states. Why is that important? Because when we talk about the military, people are moving in and out of here all the time. And one of the biggest things that they look for when they move in is what are the school systems like? We want to develop and tell people that we have the best school systems, whether it's Russell County, whether it's Central High School or Phenix City Schools, Glenwood, all the options that they have. And that's something that we think is a good opportunity to really draw in the military personnel to move here in East Alabama and Phenix City. We had a great project started last year, and it'll be a perpetual project with our veteran flags. thank you, Mr. Hunter, for allowing us to connect with some of the polls and some of the things that we did. This is a new project, so it got its legs going this year. We had 4 banners put up right around Veterans Day for Phoenix City. We did have 15 put up in Smith Station, so we had a total of 19. Eventually, I'd love to see the park in Crawford have banners in, and also out in Fort Mitchell. So again, when people come to the area, all they see is how much we support the veteran presence here in our area. One of the things they are looking for in this year is a legislative military luncheon that's going to maybe bring in our state representatives, possibly even our federal representation, Fort Benning, and all of our city and county leaders to talk about, again, the benefits of the military and how we can actually take advantage of becoming that really strong military economic community. Workforce development, as you can see, we're actually bringing in Alabama Works in a stronger way, a bigger presence there, trying to get training dollars, incumbent working dollars. What does that mean? It means that if somebody buys a new machine over at Vectorply, we have some funding to help their employees learn how to use that machine. So there's a lot of money on the table there, and I think that we have great representation with Jennifer Lohman and some of the other folks that are in the area, Shirley Armstrong, working to see if we can secure some of this money. But we are looking for a industrial workforce showcase. We've talked about it last year, but COVID shut it down, where we really showcase our young people that have welding skills, construction skills, electrical skills, HVAC, and try to really focus on those skilled labor programs and getting those kids jobs and even into college. And then our visitors and guests tag is designed to figure out how can we promote our events better? How can we get people to come here and stay? How can we get people to be in our hotels? The hotel industry, of course, as you guys know, was just absolutely killed this past year. And thankfully they're back filling some rooms up, but definitely down. So having said all that, I'll turn it over to you guys to ask me any questions that you have regarding the things that the chamber did last year.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis. We appreciate that. I will say this before I open it up for questions from the rest of the council, is that a couple of weeks ago, we had great dialogue, positive dialogue about the Chamber of Commerce. And you said the key word, partnerships, which is nothing but relationships. And, you know, I've always said to build a championship, you got to have a wholesome relationship and a partnership. And what it entails, as we all know, both sides, all sides win. So we're grateful. We appreciate this presentation that you've done. And like I said, you know, we had great, outstanding, positive dialogue a couple of weeks ago about the chamber. And we, in fact, last Thursday at the State of the City, Mr. Hunter let a person know who called in for a question about the intel of the chamber and how they can help with certain things as far as entrepreneurships and things like that. So again, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. And council, anyone have any questions for Mr. Beeson?
Yes, sir, Mayor. I noticed that he said they bought about 25 benches. Did I understand you say 25?
12.
Oh, 12. I'm sorry, sir. There's a special place you will place those benches throughout the city. I know you said the art park up there for one. I remember that, and I do believe you said the golf course. There's a special place. How you go about choosing the place you place those benches?
Actually, the benches are all on the Riverwalk. They're between the amphitheater and 13th Street. So all of the benches that were a bit worn have now all been replaced with the very strong iron, wrought iron. I don't know exactly the right term, but they're very decorative iron benches that you see on Broad Street that are up in different places here. We've now have those all on the Riverwalk. So there's a nice consistency, and they're all dedicated to different folks. So people dedicated those to people, loved ones that passed away, or businesses or organizations. And in our case, we dedicated one to the city to say thank you for all the work and the partnership that you have. And I will add, thank you for renewing the money that you give us. it's very valuable, and I certainly appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. One of the things that I listened to your presentation very diligently, and I noticed that you involved Fort Benning, and that's a good thing right there. Because we must realize we have a lot of military folks over there at Fort Benning that really come across the river in the state of Alabama because their retirement check is not taxable. And Smith Station, Fort Mitchell, and Russell County, and that's the plus for us right there. And that's one of the things that I like to say to you, Mr. Benson, is that that's where the city and myself started the local elected fellowship luncheon here, but the state, county, and city official getting together, dialoguing a little bit. This is one of the things that we're going to continue to do. I know we didn't do it this year because of COVID-19, but we will be scheduling that for 2022, February of 2022 of next year, if the Lord sees fit. But from what I hear from your presentation, I'm very pleased with what I heard and what you guys are involved in. And thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Any other
Mr.
question, comment from the council?
Just one other, if I may. Mr. Beeson, thank you for the presentation. I myself have not had a chance to kind of preview that, but it is good to know that you did send something over for us to look at. Seemed like a lot has taken place. A lot was accomplished on your behalf in 2020. And so congratulations to you for that. You had graduate leadership skills, young professionals all the way down to schools, donated to businesses with 15 employees or below. That was something that I'm sure that was very needed. And I'm sure that those businesses appreciated. 7 of them being minority business. So that I commend you for that as well, because we do have a lot of businesses that don't feel like that they will be looked at based upon the type of business or what have you. So thank you for sharing that and being so inclusive in your giving. So that was a plus. But you mentioned, sometimes people may come in and think that the business may be, the waterworks or so forth. And we don't have a signs ordinance on Broad Street, but have you ever thought about just kind of redoing the signage to make sure that is, the East Alabama Chamber of Commerce, something that would be illuminating, something that would be very noticeable?
Yeah, well, we actually have the words Chamber of Commerce across our roof line. And those of you that have driven by and noticed, I know that Gil's department noticed that we were doing some construction and did their job and came in, make sure we had the proper permits. And some cases they had to go down and make sure they get their permit. But it does say Chamber of Commerce on the top of our building. And the neat thing about it is that you can look at things one way or the other. One is that if somebody comes in your building the wrong place, you can feel annoyed that they keep coming in thing, or you can look at it as an opportunity to chat up some people and talk to them and tell them what the Chamber of Commerce does. It's one of those funny things that most people, when you say Chamber of Commerce, they really don't know what we do. It's something that is a constant education that we do for people. And we let people know that we're kind of the champion for business. We're here for whatever business we can. Yes, we are a member-based organization, so we're going to preference our members probably first, but that doesn't mean we don't help businesses that are not chamber members. As a matter of fact, with our small business relief grant, we actually targeted businesses that were not chamber members specifically because we want to make sure that people stay in business, and that's our goal.
One other question I'd like to ask you, sir, is this. I know we are the East Alabama Chamber of Commerce. How we affiliate or interchange with Columbus Chamber of Commerce? Do we interact with them? I mean, do your organization, shall I say?
Yeah, I've been a part of their Columbus 2025 group, that regional partnership, and I go in there trying to represent us. I have some strong opinions on that particular organization. I think it could be more inclusive when it comes to the surrounding communities. Mm-hmm. But if we're not at the table at all, we're not going to have a voice. Yeah. I had a pretty good relationship with Brian Anderson before he left. Brian and I met probably quarterly to discuss things. I have not yet met Gerald, the new president. I hope to meet him soon, but I know he's been very busy getting his things. But I think there's an opportunity for better uh, work together. I pitched the notion of having regional chamber events at least once a year. That's kind of fell on deaf ears. But again, I'm the guy, I'm the optimist. I keep trying, I keep knocking, I keep saying, we're here, we're here. I raise my hand. I know that both Sean Culligan and I have been part of a subgroup on entrepreneurials with the Columbus 2025 organization. And the last meeting we had, we were pretty diligent about saying, hey, we've got some businesses over here that if you need some startup space, we've got it. And kind of funny because interestingly enough, they acted surprised as if, oh yeah, I guess we could go to East Alabama. But again, if we're not at the table, if we're not pitching that stuff, we're never going to be heard.
Well, Mr. Benson, I know before the COVID-19 hit, I used to go out Fort Benning quite a bit. Every time I get an invitation, invited out there, I take the opportunity. And I never forget, we was at the National Museum, and they was talking about Columbus this, Columbus that, but they never did mention Phenix City, and we were right across the river. And we do have, like I said, just to be redundant here, we do have quite a few military folks across on this side of the river. So I just hope this Commanding General think a little bit different from the previous one.
Well, I will comment just as briefly on that. One of the things that I've been working on pretty hard for the last 3 years, and because of the 2 previous years that me coming here, I was in Junction City, Kansas, right next to Fort Riley. I really did learn the value of relationships in the military. And the thing that's interesting about commanding generals is they come and go.
Yes.
The stronger relationships are the garrison and the folks that are the contract folks that work for the garrison for many years. And so I think some of you have seen in our military government affairs tag, and Vicki, you're part of this, and we have 2 gentlemen from Fort Benning that come regularly from Fort Benning. So I know that they're listening to us now. They're hearing us. They're trying to invite us to everything. The garrison commander, Matt Scalia, we are a part of a every other week conversation that I know that the police chief is involved in, and Bob Franklin is on for COVID, Sheriff Taylor. And so again, I think now they're starting to realize, hey, we got to reach out to East Alabama more in Phenix City. So I think we can all continue to try to go to events when they have them again.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other, Steve or Griff?
I do.
Oh, Wallace?
I guess too, Mayor, this would be something that you and Mr. Beeson would need to get together on also. What the greatest difference is having a liaison that meets and greets soldiers as they come and go in their families. That's diminished over several years. And that's where your connection was. And it's not make that person provide more information than looking at what the generals do, like Mr. Beeson said and talked about. We have to get back to that point where we once had a great liaison that was there that's between, and that's we got to have retired person that's mainly retired military that meets and greets that have the time to go out and get involved voluntarily. And that's what we had for years. And that's what's missing, I believe, right now.
And that was with Mr. Virgil Green, wasn't it, Wallace?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Virgil did an excellent job.
Mr. Hunter, that is so true what you just stated, Mr. Hunter. I know over there across the river, they do have a civilian liaison person, and I think his name was Mr. Jones, if I'm not mistaken. I had the opportunity to meet with him a couple of times over there.
Mr. Jones was what provided us a lot of information also.
Yeah, okay.
So they work together a lot. So in getting that back and building that relationship, I have someone that really loves doing that to stay in touch, and it helps them out. I know it Mr. Virgil loved it, and Mr. Jones, loved it a lot. So that's what we got to get back, and that helps a lot. That was a strong, and it provided me with a great amount of information.
So Dennis, that's something for us to discuss going forward.
Yeah, again, when I was in Junction City, we actually had we had a military liaison. We had a military person that worked military affairs. I mean, we had an actual employee. I mean, I've tossed that idea out, and I'd love to figure out ways we can do it, whether it's voluntary or whether it's co-using Josh Beard, who's now over in the Columbus Chamber, or coming up with some of our own and co-funding it between the county and the city or something. But I think it's a $6 billion industry. So if we can figure out how to tap into that, I would love it. So, and if you need a place to house somebody, I got one more office left that I can fill. Be happy to have them here. So anything we can do, love to help.
All right, Steve or Griff, any questions or comments?
Only comment I've got is I appreciate what the chamber does. I appreciate what they've always done. I appreciate their interest in our community. And I understand that, you know, they do all that they can do in this COVID, and I appreciate them working so hard. And I know it's completely different than anything they've ever been through, because it's completely different than anything I've ever been through or this council's been through. And just look forward to, you know, them working with the city the best that we can with our economic development department down there and the city, but just keep pushing the small businesses within our city, because if our city grows, whether it's new businesses, existing businesses, or whatever, we're still going to all come out on top with that. So I thank Dennis and them for doing what they do and how hard they're working and just keeping their own doors open, along with a lot of small business doors open. So just keep pushing forward, Dennis. It's going to come full circle.
Thank you all.
Nothing comes to stay. That's right. Griff, any comments or discussion?
No, I think you did a good job of summarizing everything, and I appreciate you, Dennis, for just, you know, coming on and explaining to us things from last year, and just appreciate all you guys do, you know, with the chamber, and we look forward to 2021.
Thank you all.
Partnerships, relationships. That's the key.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate all your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, council, proceeding on the planning commission. Angel? Angel, are you there? I see you.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You got to get your stool to sit up on too now, because
Mayor, you've been on me about my shortness lately.
I went through that all my career, so it's fun to be able to have somebody else I can do what they did to me.
It's his birthday. You got to give him a pass today, Angel.
Yeah,
but after that,
Give me a mulligan.
Birthday.
Give me a mulligan in.
Look here, I found some booster seats over here in the truck the other day. I can bring one over there to you.
Hold on to them now, Steve.
Thank you. Yeah, my children are, my 13-year-old's definitely much taller than me now, and it's very concerning.
You better whoop him one last time, then.
but the mayor's getting older, so I got some walkers I found in another one over here for him.
You better keep them. You got that right.
I'm getting off that little rascal soon as I find one of them little rascal things.
Oh, goodness.
Angel.
Yes, sir. We did have 2 items on the agenda. We had an approval of an administrative replat, 0.64 plus or minus acres located at 1216 8th Avenue. Donald and Patricia Hamrick are owners. They were, I believe, just dividing some property lines up. They were separating some of the buildings out there, the existing buildings. And I know that Mr. Sims, a planning commission member, had some questions about parking, but Gil did advise him that they had plenty of space to park at both businesses by them doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That was approved by planning commission. We did have an acceptance of a rezone of 0.34 plus or minus acres located at 5202 Somerville Road. David Quinney was the owner. This was just up for acceptance. We have had some conversations, but nothing is in stone, that they're possibly looking at maybe an insurance agency if it is rezoned to commercial or C3 neighborhood commercial district. It will be up for approval and public hearing at the next planning commission meeting, and they will be giving their recommendation to council to determine if that will be rezoned. Like, we didn't have any other information at the time, but like I say, we will hold a public hearing at the next planning commission meeting. So if that will probably be the time that we get some feedback if we are.
Okay.
That's all we had.
Thank you. Any question, council?
Angel, you said that they planning on see if they can rezone as C, which is commercial. What is there now? R residential?
Right now, they are actually in
A1.
a A1, which is
One.
a low density residential and general agriculture district.
Okay.
Angel, let me ask this. I know we have a resolution in here on the Hamburg. Is that part of the easement of that property also?
Yes, sir. That's the easement.
Same property? Yeah,
Yes, sir. It's the same property, but we have to accept any easement that we get.
yeah. Okay. Thank you. Any question, council?
No, I have none.
Okay. If there's not any, moving ahead under the city clerk, Melanie.
Okay, Mayor, I'm just gonna go over some calendar dates with everybody. Y'all remember y'all have 2 interviews this afternoon when y'all get through with the work session. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. we have our in-person council meeting at Idle Hour Park Community Center. Next Tuesday at 5:15 is a planning commission meeting. February the 15th is President's Day holiday, which pushes our work session over to Tuesday the 16th at 3 p.m. As far as I know right now, we're going to be conducting that by Zoom. That will also push the council meeting over one day to Wednesday at 9 a.m. Also by Zoom. On Tuesday, the 23rd of February, another planning commission meeting. And then we're into March. March the 1st is a Zoom work session at 3 p.m. March the 2nd is a council meeting at 9 a.m. by Zoom. March the 9th, planning commission meeting. March the 15th, Monday at 3 p.m. we have the Zoom work session. March the 16th council meeting is typically the one that we travel around to the 1st district at 6 p.m. at the Martin Idle Park Community Center. I didn't know if y'all still wanted to do that one in person or if you wanted to keep Zooming with that. Something to think about if y'all, can let me know what y'all want to do about that. Because if we're going to do it at 6 in the evening, I probably need to advertise that in the paper. On the 23rd is another planning commission meeting. And then Miss Johnson had asked a question about the advocacy day. That's February the 9th. That's I did check on, I think it was on Wednesday or Thursday. That is still happening as far as we know right now. So that's still.
So that would be well, no, I'm not on the planning commission, but that's where I will be on February the 9th in Montgomery.
And then on looking at your board appointments for March, there's the Historic Preservation Commission with 2 people coming up for either reappointment or a different appointment on that. And that's all I have, Mayor.
I'm glad you just said that about the historic. That just reminded me I did talk to Steve Franklin, and I just wanted, and I did tell him I was going to share it with the council, that he's taking the position that he's going to look at purchasing the brick. So I did tell him. He asked me. I said, "Yeah, you have to just get with the owner, and if he wants to sell it to you, that'll be fine." So, but I just wanted to let you. I wanted to keep my word. I'm glad you mentioned that, Melanie, because I surely have forgotten it. But anyway, I've done my part as I stated to you.
Did
You
he
said purchasing the brick? What do you mean?
Well, I'm sorry. The old elementary school, or was it the high school, Steve? Was that once a high school, or has it all?
That should have always been elementary school, I thought.
Elementary school up on South Railroad Street. I'm sorry.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Mayor,
Yeah.
did he have an understanding that he's purchasing that personally, or
Yes.
purchasing for the city? And the city pays?
Him personally, no.
Oh, yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. Then.
Yeah. Well, I told him, if you personally, you need to contact the owner and y'all work out the deal. So, but I told him I was going to let you all know. So I appreciate you reminding me, Melanie, even though you didn't know, but that helped me be reminded.
Mayor, he advised me after that letter was delivered to him that he was going to, he had some private investors that were going to purchase it. So you know, for whatever that's worth.
Well, I told him he had the right to buy it for himself, so left it at that. So council, are there any questions for Melanie on any of the calendar or anything?
On the calendar, where we're going around from district to district, personally, I don't see any need. I don't mind meeting with everybody in person, but those were always set up to get the general public to our meetings. Right now, was, you know, with this COVID still going on, I don't see that. There again, it doesn't matter to me, but the general public, you know, is not going to show up. I don't think, even if we allow them to, I still don't think they're going to show up to where it's enough to put everybody at the city in that position, which is our employees that normally make it go home at 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon rather than, you know, sitting at a meeting that night. So my personal opinion would be that, you know, we could postpone the moving around in the city of our doing that, you know, once every 3 months or so.
I agree with that, because we shouldn't meet until we have to meet.
And like what we have to make sure that when people, not saying they will, they probably won't, because like you said, Steve, you know, people are very cognizant of, you know, what's happening in the environment. Everybody's confidence level has to get back to where it was. But as you stated, you know, we've had the past 2 of this year would be there, but there's a reason for it. So we just need to be prepared to discuss them why we are meeting in person. But I don't think that'll be a problem, because most people probably not going to attend, because everybody's confidence level has to get back up. Even though I know the vaccines and all of that, so that's still going to take some time and change their minds too. But I would agree with you. Have council, the rest of the council, how do you all? What's your take?
Agree.
Okay, Arthur, Vicky.
I have a problem with it, Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
neither, unless it's absolutely necessary. I think this year, I think we can kind of bypass those district meetings.
Okay.
If we get done in September.
Well, you know, we just have to wait and see how we, and when I say we, this country, and I guess this world, get their arms around this environment that we're in.
All right, so I just want to be clear. So we're looking at March the 16th, holding it at 9 a.m. by Zoom.
That's correct.
Yes.
Right, thank you.
One more thing, Mayor, on what Ms. Lee brought up on the 2 board members that are coming off of the Historic Preservation Commission. I noticed in the letter that they contacted one of them who's willing to serve again, but the other one, y'all have not contacted, I don't think, successfully.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess you will try again, and maybe by the next meeting, we would know.
Well, we'll try again, but Shannon was actually the one that talked, you know, that reached out, and on the note she put there were restrictions on his phone. So I'm thinking I will try tomorrow to see if I can reach out to him, but if there's still restrictions on there, it may be where we can't get to it.
Yeah, but you know, you got time to try, and if he doesn't, then you'll let us know when it's time to turn in some names.
Yes, sir.
Okay, council?
Fine.
All right. Proceeding on, I'm the city manager, council again, for the sake of time, which is a precedent that we have set. If there's any specific questions that you all would like to ask the department head, for the sake of time, as I stated, we have set a precedent with this, so we will continue that if that's okay. And so I'll start with you, Mrs. Johnson. Any specific questions you would like to ask? Or
Just a couple, if I may. Any update on the vaccination locations? I had a call last night, and that was one that just called me just now, wanted to know where they can be vaccinated. City leaders, do we have anything that we can update on?
Mike,
And now-
do you have those posted on the website?
Huh?
The locations? I was actually,
Yes, sir. We have a lot of that stuff posted on the website. Right now, we're working on getting more information posted to the digital signs. we're trying to, the digital signs, you have a limited landscape. So we're trying to shorten it up so we can fit everything on there. But a lot of that information is posted on the website.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you just give me just a location of where they can go to get vaccinated?
Chief Hunter, can I say something?
Go ahead, Chief.
Ms. Johnson, how old is the person that you're speaking of?
He's in his 80s.
Oh, yes, ma'am. He can call the health department, or he can go to Jack Houston Hospital. The state of Alabama has opened up a new category. And I can forward this email, Chief, that I got from Bob, if you'd like for me to forward it to Melanie.
Yeah, get to the clerk, she can distribute
Okay.
everything out.
All right.
Besides what we have, because in the locations that are already on the site, if you call those locations, they give you directions. That's why we had them on the website, because they tell the people where they can come and go to eliminate a lot of other double doing. But they're already on the website. But like I say, they change up, and other people, just like for here, we're trying to do something different to try to get people the shots here. But we have all the information that's out there, and Chief will get that back out there to Melody, and she'll get that other additional to you all.
I sent it over.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the things,
That was Mr. Albert Scott. But he called me last night and he had just phoned me. I told him I would just kind of update on, and I know that there was you had to make an appointment, but I didn't know the specific location, so I didn't want to misquote. And I just want to have some additional information before I get back with him. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate that.
I like to say this, Ms. Johnson. On last Monday, my wife and I went to the health department, and we got our shot there, and we are going back on the 25th of February. That was by age group. I guess you fit in that category as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilmember Day. I appreciate that.
Okay. Mr. Gordon? I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll be brief. I do see that we are reclaiming those sidewalks on Broad Street, and that's looking real good. I guess that's Colin Powell Parkway. Are we trying to go up to that point, or are we gonna try to end it before we get to Colin Powell Parkway? Right before we get, that's not Colin Powell Parkway. It's on the opposite side, like
Broad 431.
Yeah. So are we gonna reclaim them all the way up to where they already exist, or are we just gonna stop probably at the intersection of Broad there and I forgot what street that is that runs down past the cemetery?
Ms. Johnson, we're gonna go all the way, you're talking about Martin Luther King Parkway, correct?
Yes, there we go.
Okay, all right. We are actually gonna go up to that last house. That's what's in this year of the ADA transition plan. So that's what we're doing now. Eventually the rest of them will be completed, but as we're trying to do per our ADA transition plan, so we will meet compliance with that. We are doing that section now, and we feel like we're going to affect the most public right there because we are going past that last house, and then we will catch the other end of it at a later date.
That sounds good, and it looks good. I've already received calls about it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, Mrs. Johnson?
I don't think so. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Mr. Gordon?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Mr. Day?
I like to ask this question, Angel. Could you update me with the Village Crossing area down there? We at phase 1, phase 2, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, sir, Mr. Day. They had talked to us about getting that final plat of the phase 2 of that area approved. They did have some work that they had to do on site before they could do that. They just sort of dropped off the map for a little bit, and I had someone in my office contact the developer, and they said that I guess through the holiday season and due to COVID that they've sort of slacked off, but they are getting back on that now to try to get that final plat approved. but they can't sell any of those lots or anything until that final plat is approved in that area. So that's what we're trying to push them to finish up.
Okay. Chief, I noticed, Chief, Mr. Ray Smith, I know you had two, maybe I might be getting personal, I don't know. I know you had two dispatch that's resigned. I know there's got to be a reason for it. So that's because the HIPAA law.
You can't discuss it.
We shouldn't discuss that.
Yeah, I saw that. Because of HIPAA law. Okay.
People sometimes, I'll say this, Mr. Day, we won't go into it, but people move away, get married, they do all kinds of stuff, throw jobs, go back to school. And that's about far as I'll go with that.
Okay. Utility, I know we have replaced about 12,348 meter register. And we have about 400 to go. You cannot tell us a time frame on that because of the weather and other things. Is that right, Mr. Hunter?
Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Day. That's correct. We're getting closer though, getting towards the end.
Well, the one that we already replaced, I'm pretty sure they're working. We don't have any problem with those, do we?
And let's say this too, because I think people have a misconception when we're talking about the meters itself. It's not necessarily the meters that's bad. These meters are programmed, and it could be certain just devices that's in that particular meter that's malfunctioned or went bad. So it's not the meter itself, the entire meter.
It's the register, you call it?
The register, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct.
On the bridge on the OCL Road, I think I asked this question last time. Could we give an update on that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Day, we're still in the very preliminary engineering of that. We're still working with AlDOT. We've received a proposal from the consultant to do the design work. AlDOT has it under review, and I'm waiting for information back from them before we can go forward with that. So, I mean, no design work has been done. We are just in the very beginning of it, trying to hire a consultant to do the design work. So it's far out. It's not about to happen at any time.
That'll be next year sometime.
Next year? That's too long.
Most definitely next year. Sometime when you talk about the phases, that's why I'm telling you, you got to get y'all used to these phases. When you start talking about getting with AlDOT and getting to the design phase just to put it together, even when you go through all that process, you got other phases to go to, the construction phases. You got to go through those and stuff, the approval of those that you got to get through. These things take months and months. And then when AlDOT slow you down or they're doing other projects, that's why we're going. So that's what we're trying to do, relieve you of action about it again.
Okay.
Times before next year.
All right.
It's not going to, what I'm telling you, it's not going to happen in 2021.
Hey,
2021.
I'll try my best not to ask about it anymore.
But I'm trying.
We'll cut you off.
Now, when you can scratch that one.
Arthur, you remember when, and Angel, correct me if I'm wrong, on Cut Rate Road, how many times the AlDOT made changes on that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when we say the preliminary engineering stage, I mean, I'm talking about we have to go through an environmental compliance. We have to go through a historical review. I mean, there's lots of things that we've got to get checked off before they'll even let us go out there to even begin doing the survey work to determine what the new bridge is going to look like. So that's what, I mean, we haven't even started that process. And that's why Mr. Hunter's saying it is a long process because you've got to jump through all of these different sections just to make sure that we are doing what we are required to do.
Yeah. And it's not that we just sitting here waiting on them and being patient. We make calls and we push and we actually know what's going on. It's just like even in dealing with this, we had one project that we had to deal with permissions from the railroad. I remember over 10 years ago, and it had sat in a different spot for months, almost a year. And even after getting somebody new on it, it took us almost a year to get that straightened out after then. So some of them move fast, but it's just like what we've been waiting on and we're getting closer. to Brickyard Road, and we're getting closer to Railroad. But we've been waiting on them now for how long, Ms. Moore?
Oh, years. I mean, and it's due to the railroad. And what we are waiting on, we've actually had the pre-construction meeting with the contractor and AlDOT. And again, we are waiting on the railroad to provide what they deem is necessary for the insurance that the contractor is going to have to purchase, so they can have a flagman out there every day that they're going to have to pay for on those railroad tracks in order for them to do any work. So there again, we're still at the railroad's mercy, trying to get them to say, hey, this is what it's going to take to keep y'all satisfied so we can continue to work on our right of way.
Yes, so it's.
Well, Mr. Hunter,
Sir.
actually, I received a call from somebody working. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. My nephew went down to on State Dock Road to that insulation factory. He was just talking about he knocked his car out of the line, how large the holes in on State Dock Road, and I asked him when we gonna do something about that. And I couldn't give him an answer. I said, the only thing I'm gonna do is call the city to tell them what you told me.
Yeah, that's right. They have to report it. They have to report
Yeah.
the roads, and no matter what road you put there, we are constantly working on that road because of all of the enormous heavy equipment that's on that road all the time. It's always, that industrial site is a place that's always going to be, we're going to be in the repair mode all the time and fixing it and stuff because it's heavy duty traffic there. And we have a crossing of the railroad down there also. It's going past the first portion. And then you'll have that. But anytime people report stuff, we get there and try to repair it. But those roads, no road will last long there. It's not, the life expectancy of any road there is very short because it's a lot of heavy duty and heavy equipment that's there daily, all day and all night. So if they just report it, we try to get there and get it taken care of.
Okay, last question. I mean, it's not a question, but I received, matter of fact, 2 more calls on I guess that's 10th Avenue, Fontaine Road, going down by the factory there. And they was talking about the 18 wheelers coming down there. I said, well, ma'am, I said, like this. I said, they got to take the product to and from those factory right along in that area. And that's that's the statement I gave.
They moved on it. They moved across the street from it.
Yes.
From industry.
Yes.
They moved across the street from there. So I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, that's
the
statement that I gave them.
Airport. I'm gonna have golf balls in my yard. I'm gonna have airplanes flying over my house. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck about it, but it depends on where you live. And with some of the people that's there who our officers stop sometime, they're following, they get there. Some people get there by mistake and trying to go certain ways to get there, So it's and we try to direct it and try to be on top of it, but at the same time on the side facing Fontaine, you've got a whole area where they have to enter with these 18 wheelers. So I don't know what to do about that. That's what, that's where they moved at.
This is my last question. What have we done about, I hadn't, be honest with you, I would tend to go down there and check on the flag on I still call it Graveyard Street, but I believe a community cemetery, the flag's down. This lady called me about that. I think I mentioned it to Public Work, I believe.
Well, as Woodmen of the World, dealing with the cemeteries, a lot of times we get our flags from there. They replace things. Todd, have you heard anything from them?
No, sir. Last time we talked, they were trying to get some, and what I did, I just went ahead and we ordered some through our office. So as soon as they come in, we're going to replace them ourselves.
Okay, so we're on top of it, Mr. Day. Just
Thank you, sir.
Come in, but Woodmen of the World used to help us with a lot of that. And as Parks and Rec Director said, we on top of it, getting them ordered when we couldn't get them from them. So we hadn't forgotten.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Bailey?
No, this week I don't have anything. Everything looked to be pretty good, going on schedule. This weather slowed down anything that might was going to open up. So all you can do is tell everybody in the city that we're still working on it. We're staying on top of everything. And weather related, we'll get some of these bridges opened and some of these roads done. But right now, like you said, as far as what we're doing, is being done as it's supposed to. And all you just got to wait on the other entities that allow you to do it.
Okay. Thank you. So council, we're okay. We can go ahead and proceed on with the agenda for tomorrow if that's the pleasure of everyone.
That's fine.
Okay. Griff, Arthur.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Vicky and Steve.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Again, as I stated, tomorrow, the 2nd of this month, the first council meeting, which will be held at the Martin Island Park Community Center at 9 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Invocation will be done by Reverend Don Abrams, who is the pastor at Trinity United Methodist Church, and he has confirmed. So hopefully he will remember and be there. It's going to be kind of cold. It's cold out there now, so but just monitor up about 50 degrees below, and it'd be like it is in Canada. So it is cold. But then the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilman Gordy. We do not have any presentations or proclamation. And after that, council, I will, under the city clerk, I will ask for a motion for the approval of the regular scheduled meeting minutes for the January the 19th work session, excuse me, and January the 20th council meeting. If it's the pleasure of the council, we'll take those in one vote. Okay?
That's fine.
So I will ask for a motion and a second for the 19th work session and well as the 20th council meeting. Okay? All right, then proceeding on the city council. Next line item is unfinished business, and at that time, we'll open that up. And if there's anything to discuss at that time, that's where we will do it. And after that, we will proceed on with the resolutions. And under the resolution administration, we have a resolution in reference to correcting and amending resolution number 96-194. We will ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and I will ask for a motion and a second on that.
Mayor,
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
could I speak on that resolution where the mayor and council know exactly what we're doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Mayor and council, you know, for years, we've been trying to remove the parks designation off of that property that the city had conveyed to Mike Bowden in the settlement of a lawsuit. We have done everything that we can think of possible to get that done. Angel had been working with the Lee Russell County folks, and you know, we just hadn't been able to get it done. And Jim McCoon came up with this idea of correcting and amending that resolution that was passed back in 1996. And it states that the property that we eventually had deeded to Mr. Bowden was not supposed to be in that legal description. And the state of Alabama built a road through it, and all of that's set out in here. And then there's
What, Jimmy? Say it again. All of that. What now? I missed it.
all of that is set out in the resolution. The fact that
Yeah.
it was either included in there by advertence or mistake, and that the city, that the Alabama Department of Transportation built a road through it. And we think this will correct it, and it gives the mayor and council to issue a corrective deed to Mr. Bowden. And this may not fix it, but it's the only thing that Mr. McCoon, myself, and can think of that might correct it. And once Mr. Biden gets the amended resolution and the deed, we're going to record them both together. And Jim worked hard on this, drafting this thing, and he did really a good job. But we're hoping that once all of this is done and Mr. Biden wants to either sell the property or borrow money on it, that he'll be able to get clear title on it as a result of this.
And it's 3 parcels, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's a total of about 8 acres, correct?
Yeah, it's very small part, and plus, you know, it can't be used for really any recreational purposes because of the easements that are through there for the power company. You got those big power lines over it and everything, and you know, it's just not anything that's ever going to be used for city parks and recreation.
So it won't fall up under the National Park Service and then for the Department of
No,
Interior
we're just simply saying that
taking that part out of it?
that wasn't supposed to be in
Okay,
the resolution in 1996 it was passed.
okay.
Jimmy, the land is there. What road is it? River Chase that runs through it?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
it's on
land-
both sides. It's on both sides of River Chase, behind the ball fields and across where the power lines is at.
right. The property, the property is, if you're going toward where you live on
Yeah.
River Chase, to the right,
Okay,
down where our water pumping station and all is, it's on
Yeah.
that side of the road.
okay. That's, yeah, I mean, like you said, there's nothing over there really to use.
Well, and on
Yeah.
top of that, at one time it was a landfill.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's the old dump back when I was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
But we're taking this as kind of, hopefully this will resolve the situation that's gone on ever since y'all took office.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other question, council? Again, if we can ask all the questions now and hopefully save some time tomorrow if follow that precedent. So I will ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution and we will ask for a second and a motion on it. Are there any questions or comment or any question for the attorney? Okay. Proceeding on the administrations on the resolution is a resolution in reference to accepting a proposal from Municipal Consultants Incorporation for minor modification of permit for C&D landfill in an amount not to exceed $28,000. We'll ask Ms. Lee to read that resolution and we will ask for a second and a motion on that. Okay, council, any questions or comments, discussion?
Yes, the $28,000. Will you go in depth a little bit for me, Mr. Hunter? I mean, either Angel, about the $28,000. That's in addition to what we already paid.
So Mr. Day, it's the same project. It's our C&D landfill, but we've got it split up into 2 different phases. So right now we have a contract with Municipal Consultant Engineers to do our landfill expansion. That will be our new site. So what I'm talking about in this actual contract is to do some work on our existing landfill that is out there now. They have looked at it. We've seen some value where we think we can go back to ADM and say, hey, we think that we can gain some more volume in these spots. And this is what this is for. So they're going to actually go in and try to modify our existing permit that we have on our existing landfill site. So we can try to buy some extra life out of that landfill, because I mean, we were about to start constructing our new landfill, but we're still taking, trash every day. And we want to try to get as much out of our existing one as we can. And we feel like if we tried this method that ADM, who has been, so far, they've been very positive about it, that we can gain some additional life, which won't be long, but anything is going to help us, until we can get our new one built.
Well, you said additional life. We're talking, I know you don't know exactly, talking about another year or so, or less than a year.
Less than a year.
Okay.
It depends on what we put down there also. At the same time, you'll be hearing a lot about the landfill because, in the planning process of just about 2 years ago, getting to this point, we are trying to get life out of this one. Then we got to look at closing this one down at the same time, building the other one, which will be close to $1 million.
Yes, sir.
At that point in time. So, this all been put in place over the past couple of years.
Mr. Hunt, I got one other question for you. How are we doing with these extra car tires and truck tires throughout the city?
It's awful. We're collecting them and we have to take to the landfill and then we have to pay to get rid of them. trying to catch people and people out dumping them or people picking them up, or we're still in the same cat and mouse game with that, trying to catch people. People don't, I looked and seen on the news not too long ago in Columbus, everybody around us have that same problem.
Yeah,
With people dumping things and tires and stuff and finding sites that they could put them at, or the people that change tires sell them to people that's supposed to take them to a dump site and they make money off of them, but they may go somewhere and dump them on us. So we have people that's looking and watching when we see trucks go through, trying to follow them to see where they're going to try to dump truck, but it's awful. So it's a constant fight. It's a constant fight that's not ended until we try to make cases and catch some people, of that's doing that, but it's a constant.
Yeah, the reason I asked that question because I go to and from on 25th here, and right across from the storage, the mini storage right there, I know about 3 or 4 tires. These tires went down yesterday, but you got 4 or 5 tires on that side of the opposite side of the street.
It changes overnight. It changes a lot. People look, they ride at night. The city never closed. Sometimes some sites, we have some sites that we clean up and put signs up and try to watch. And if they find out somebody's not watching, they try to do a quick drop off. So that right there is something that, we just gotta, punish people when we can catch them. The ones that we catch, and try to make that a deterrent for other people to be afraid of getting caught. But it's the world we live in.
Thank you.
Okay, any other question, council? Okay, if not, proceeding on the administration. C is a resolution in reference to accepting the dedication of an easement for public utilities on a plat of property division for lots 14, 15, 17, and 18, block 243, Tockton's map, Phenix City, located in section 14, township 17 north, range 30 east, Phenix City, Russell County, Alabama. Donna Hambrick and Patricia Hambrick, owners. So we will ask Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and I will ask for a motion and a second for approval. Any questions, comment, or discussion? This is the one, Angel, Mrs. Moore, just same property we see just discussed in the 0.664 acres. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Okay. Then on the library department, council, we have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and the city manager to sign a 3-year service contract with McCoy Fire and Safety Incorporation for monitoring services for the library's fire alarm system. We'll ask the reading of that by our clerk proclamation, the resolution by reading of our clerk and the council. I will ask for a motion in a second. Any questions or comments, discussion on that?
Well, Mayor, how did that work? I mean, how did that work? We're saying the folks in Auburn, our fire department chief couldn't handle that over here.
I don't know where, but we saving $400 a year.
No, sir. We don't do that. We're not in that type of business, Mr. Day. What this is her fire protection equipment, her monitoring of her fire alarm has got to be done. And she's just going to a one-stop shop. She had sprinkler work by another company, fire alarm monitoring by a different company, fire extinguisher service by another company.
Gotcha.
I just handled it for her, and it's all under one company. And all she's doing is changing the service from Columbus Fire and Safety for that to McCoy. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Save money.
That's save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
In other words, just one stop. You got one stop.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comment, council? Discussion? Okay, if not, proceeding on the Parks and Recreation Department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor, the city manager, to sign an agreement with Jerry Pate Turf and Irrigation for the lease of golf course maintenance equipment for the Lakewood Golf Course in an amount not to exceed $336,853.80. We'll ask the clerk to read that resolution, and I will ask the council for a motion and a second for approval. Comments, questions, or discussion?
When we talking about that kind of money, we're talking about the golf course. I mean, the golf carts, aren't we?
No, sir. We're talking about the equipment that's actually used to maintain the golf course. We've already done the golf course, Mr. Day.
Run that by me again now?
We've already done the golf course. This is for the golf course maintenance equipment that we use to cut the grass and maintain the golf course with.
Okay. Expensive, huh?
Steve, do you have a question, comment, discussion?
Yeah, I
Is that-
saw on there where it looks like at the end of the 60 months, we can buy all the stuff for $1. So we'll wind up being, if I look at this right, we'll wind up being able to use this stuff for another probably 5 to 10 to 15 years, probably after we purchase it for $1.
That's our hopes, yes, sir. We,
Right.
Plan.
Mike and I got with Mr. Hunter and we went through and put together a plan for the next 7 or 8 years. And doing this, we hope to in the next bidding cycle that this process will save the city about $350,000.
Okay.
Well, I would think so, because, when your lease runs out and you turn your stuff back in, you got to turn around and release again. And this way we won't have to release them. We can pay a little more up front as we go month to month, but we can actually wind up basically buying them for the term of the lease. And makes good sense.
You have a choice. What's lasted, you have a choice to look at that. And I like to say this, Mr. Mike Barber did an excellent job on that. And
Yeah, it looks good. I like the way it looks.
having a two professional up there, and them Todd works real good together. And we had couple meetings to sit down and take a look at this, evaluate this, the longevity of everything. So he's worked on it real good, and it's saving us a lot of money in the long run to take care of. So Mike, would you like to say something on this?
Sure, I'll just quickly on what Councilman Bailey was saying. So just one example, a fairway mower that the purchase price or the lease price, that's normally $52,000. And that's a discounted price because we buy it or lease it through the U.S. communities. So it's really a $60,000 mower.
Yeah.
Over the course of the way we're doing it now under a fair market value lease, where, like you said, Mr. Bailey, we just turn it back in. The city is still going to make about $46,000 worth of payments on that piece of equipment.
Right.
So for another $6,000, we could buy that piece of equipment. And our two fairway mowers are sold already. They're already spoken for because our lease is up at the end of next month, and they sold for $32,000 a piece.
Wow.
So, let me ask you this, Mike. If just say those were ours right now, the ones that you got sold, how much life do you think's left in those two mowers there? Probably another 5 or 10 years, probably left out.
At least. So here's one thing about Lakewood that really works in our advantage when it comes to equipment, as I've broken it down. So a fairway mower, and I'll keep on that example, is you're really going to get about 4,500 to 5,000 hours from that piece of equipment. All the equipment is going to be based on, the life expectancy based on the number of hours that you operate it, just like a backhoe or any other piece of equipment that the city has. And right now, our fairway units one of our units has about 780 hours on it, and the other one has right about 930 hours on it.
Whoa.
And the reason for that, Lakewood's only got 24 acres of fairways. So where other golf courses, longer, bigger golf courses might have 40, 45 acres of fairways, we're fortunate on this piece of property to only have to cut 24 acres of fairways twice a week. So those units should last at least another 12 years. And with the way we maintain our equipment, we now have a qualified mechanic. We take care of our equipment. We're going to get, like Todd had mentioned, if we can operate that equipment for 15 years, we're going to save right at $733,000. Now we're going to have to, in years 9 through 15,
You got to spend some money on them. Right.
Just add a little bit of money to our maintenance, equipment repair maintenance budget, because things like belts, tires, things like that are going to have to be replaced. But Todd at Parks and Rec, they operate right now a 2004 model fairway unit that they cut the ball fields with. It has 1,800 hours on it. And we're just, now we're helping because we have the mechanic and we have the grinder that y'all were kind enough to get us last year. We are putting some money in that mower, and Todd will still get another couple, 2 or 3 years left out of that mower. So it is a little bit painful to jump off of the fair market value lease carousel, as I call it, because you end up, having to lose some equity and spend a little bit of money on some other things, which is in the next resolution that the mayor is going to read to you. Because what I've proposed in this particular resolution is only 10 pieces of equipment, and we currently lease 15. The other 5 pieces, and I don't know if I'm allowed to get ahead of it, but it kind of blends together into the next.
They're on the next one, right?
Is there are some pieces of equipment that a golf course would never lease, just because of how long it lasts or how short of a lifespan that it has. So in the next resolution is kind of authorizing us to purchase, and Mr. Mayor, can I say that now? I mean, can I go in?
We're good, Mike.
Were you okay? Go ahead.
Okay.
No, we good with what you gave. You gave enough information. We good.
Yeah, so the next resolution, will explain the 5 pieces that we're asking to buy that has a whole lot of life left on it. That really doesn't make a lot of sense to lease or even borrow money against, they're pieces of equipment that you would just buy outright as you wear them out, like 0-turn mowers or the greens roller that should last 15 years, the air fire, things that you end up paying 2 and 3 times for if you just keep leasing them fair market instead of going into the capital lease or the dollar buyout lease option.
Well, it makes perfect sense what you're saying, because if you put it on the lease, you're talking about every 5 years, you're going to basically be spending $300,000 to $400,000. And if this stuff will last 12 to 15 years, you can get rid of at least one of those leases during that length of time, and maybe half of the other lease without, before you come into the time of having to spend money on them for, upgrades at that time. I just believe we should get every inch, every fairway, every acre out of anything that the city has. I know we do that with all the other equipment. So I think you did very well to do this. I thank you for your time to look into it. And then I thank you time for looking at it and then, negotiating what looks like a real good deal to me. Anytime we can possibly save $500,000 within the next 10 to 15 years, I'm like Mr. Hunter always says, and Eddie said, that's a good return on your investment.
It's the smartest economically, Mike.
I'm all for it.
Hardest thing to do. Yeah. Okay. Proceeding on, council. On the Parks and Recreation is B, is a resolution in reference to authorizing the mayor and city manager to sign an end of term purchase agreement with Jerry Pate and Irrigation to purchase equipment for the Lakewood Golf Course in an amount not to exceed $29,195. Okay, Councilor, we'll ask for Mrs. Lee to read that resolution, and we'll ask for motion in a second on that for approval. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Then proceeding on the Utilities Department. We have a resolution in reference to authorizing and directing the mayor and city manager to sign change order number 1 with Deere and Company in the amount of $1,268.19 for an additional charge for the purchase of a John Deere 51E utility tractor. The clerk will be asked to read their resolution, council, and I will ask for a motion and a second for approval. Any comments?
The only question I've got on that, how come we missed the original time date, the time limit on that back in October? Was the unit not available, or? Because it looks to me like we had a contract for one price back in October, but we didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't come across.
You're on mute, Charles. Charles, you're on mute.
Charles, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Back in October, when the council originally approved for this resolution to be passed, The original contract, state contract, expired on October 14th. Of course, as you see, that resolution was signed off on October 20th. And when we went to go order the tractor, that's when it was noticed that that contract had expired on October 14th. And as you see, this is an up-to-date contract that expires the end of this month. And that's why you see the additional monies there that's requested in this resolution.
In short, Charles, who was handling this?
It was the state one, then.
No,
No,
director. We had some unfortunate things that happened.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. It was just bad timing. Right.
Yeah.
So
The timing just
was
was
at that
wrong.
point in time. It was something that Charles was trying to come in on that Steve had been handling.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
There was other things more important to be worried about at that time. That's exactly right.
Yeah, it was one of those transition things from
The timing. The
It
timing.
was all about the timing. That's correct. It was just the end of it. But I was just wondering why, why we did miss it, but it's very understandable that we did. And it was something that, at this point in time, for the reasons that it happened, I can understand. So it was, nobody dropped the ball is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to ask the question. When you buy the expensive, high dollar item, like this tractor, do we have a shed down there and they keep these down at the utility plant down there on wherever they parked at?
unfortunately, at this time, Councilman Day, we don't have a covered barn per se or a shelter for that tractor to be stored at. It'll be stored right here on the yard, just across from the fuel pumps.
Oh, okay. In other words, you don't keep it down there all the time.
No, when it's not being used, it's kept right here at the backside of the municipal building.
Have you seen the covered shed out by the fuel pumps, Mr. Day?
Yes, sir, I have. But
We
I was
have
thinking
one. That's where, yes, sir, we have a cover here because utilities are located in two different places down there.
So in other words, I'm trying to understand whenever they get ready to use, they come down here and pick it up. Take it.
They work down here. Yeah, they just take it from here.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Because they use it, they're gonna use that in several different places.
Okay, gotcha.
They use it all over the city at different sanitary mains where you have easements that they gotta clean off and right of ways so we can keep them up and clean so we can inspect manholes and our sewer lines.
So our department heads has improved tremendous relationship with each other when they come to equipment. I remember when I first came aboard that we was talking about that. That's a great segment.
So they've done that from the beginning. They've done that from the beginning, going on, I know for sure, 13 years now.
Yeah.
People just need to
I know.
understand they have to share, and all
Yes.
of it. None of it belongs to us anyway. It belongs to the citizens.
Taxpayer, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Proceeding on, council, on the ordinance. This is the first reading. It's an amendment to ordinance authorizing the issuance of general obligation warrant series 2021A. The clerk will read the ordinance. However, council, I will ask for a motion to suspend the rules. And then after that, we'll ask for a motion for approval. Okay, any questions, comments, or discussion on that? So we will ask for, again, a motion to suspend the rules. And then we'll ask for a motion for approval.
Okay,
Well,
gotcha.
you see what happens here. Labrita, you want to tell them what happened here? This is a plus.
That's a plus for us on this. It's bigger change, don't it? Go ahead, Labrita.
Yes, sir. The original ordinance that was presented at the last council meeting, the wording in it said that the bonds would sell at a premium limit of 107%. And actually, when they went to sell, they actually sold for 107.6, or basically 108%, which is in the city's favor because that increased our present value savings. And I think when the original ordinance was put together, at the time of the sale, the interest rate decreased, which caused that premium change. So it helped the city. I think when we originally went to propose the ordinance and the refinancing, the expected savings was 2.2 million, and the actual savings at the time of sale is 2,357,000. So that was an increase in the present value savings because of that. So we have to change that wording in the original ordinance to compensate for that additional premium amount.
Thank you. That's great right there.
And I want to say this, people think, and it's a misconception that bonds always hold value. That's not true. And stock market wouldn't go up and down if it was for that. Since in the past 12 months, refunding our 2009 A, we saved $490,243, and refunding our 2010 A, we saved $2,990,867. We refunded our 2011 A and saved $1,236,583. We refunded our 2010 B and saved $3,763,924. And the last one that you all seen that we're doing now, and refunding 2011 A, we saved $2,357,619 for a total of $10,839, which the gross saving value is way over $11 million in that.
Closer to 12 million.
That's correct. It's way over 11 million in that, close, real close to 12 million, like the mayor say, and looking at the gross savings. And this was something that we put in place years ago. The way we used to finance warrants and bonds, you know, whichever choice of words you want to use. And we looked into serial bonding. And that's something we looked into years ago to make sure that we could stop at certain intervals and take a look at our financial state and see what we would need to do as long as we kept this credit rating up and kept it good to make sure we could do this. So we've been able to stay good with Fraser Lanier, and they've worked with us on the plan that we had put in place. And our plan, I can say, is worked for us real well. And looking at this and being able to do this just the retirement of this regular debt, and explaining things to you all how we pay our regular debts, portion of our debt that they pay from finance, you know, on any warrant that we have that we are paying anything on, we pay a portion of interest and we always pay towards the principal. So we paid down a lot of debt, way more than 10 million over the last. This was just the refunding part. And I plan to put that total of that we paid off in debt. And that was one of the main goals too, because when you sit in this job, you also have a lot of criticism on, okay, you're borrowing money. And a lot of people didn't understand in this which way we borrow money. At the same time, you can prove to people that you're also paying your debt off. And at the same time, maintaining what we need to do in building our reserves and making sure we build funds for emergencies and emergencies on top of that. Another thing that we have to do in utilities and setting that thing, same program that we've been trying to set up. And we've had so many repairs that we've had to do from years ago of years of neglect before we ever start putting this program in place, to where we've gotten to the point to where we could do a lot of the same things for the utility department as we get a lot of these things repaired. So we're setting pretty good, but people don't need to make that mistake or assumption that, okay, we got a bunch of money set somewhere that we need to spend now. And I think that's what happened. That always happened when you have a state of the city also. You know, giving out the information, being transparent is not for the reason of spending yourself down in the gutter or getting to that point. So I just wanted to clear that up and and so y'all can have an understanding. If any information any of you all need to see that we can get to you from us in the finance department, we'll get that to you and explain it to you.
Okay. Can I ask something?
Yes, sir.
When we save money on the interest like you did in different intervals on different bond issues, is that something that's automatic? As long as your credit's good, you can do it? Do you have to put it in the original makeup of the bond or whatever, that where it allows you to do that?
It's a portion of it, yeah, that's there, but at the same time, it's all about timing and knowing when you can stop to do these things. And remember, when I had that talk about surviving and keeping a continuity together and keeping a staff together that can make sure they're there. One of the downsides of government is when you change every 4 years, and we used to change every 3. That's why we weren't able to get a foothold on a lot of things in Phoenix City as far as our finances. We've been fortunate enough to stay together and been able to do the things that we had put in place, because as it changes, because everybody have to put their footprint on something if they take over a new job or they are doing something. So it changes so much where you don't have that ability. But if somebody follow what's in place, once it was set up, and from now on, they'll be able to follow this unless it just dramatically changed throughout, whether we're here or not. But yes, you have to put it there in the serial bond, and it depends on chasing and keeping an eye on the market.
But the key is,
if you don't have your credit rating, if you don't have your credit rating sustained,
it ain't gonna matter.
Do it. No, you can't do it. It works against you. That credit rating has got to be where you can step in there and take care of that. Go ahead.
As I was saying, and you were saying, the credit rating, if you don't have the credit rating, it's all for naught anyway, because you're not going to be able to get in the game where you can save some money or the present value either. But that credit score is the key. So it's vitally important. And part of that, of keeping that, is a strong reserve and other metrics that they look at. But that reserve and the liquidity is one of the keys that they look at. So
to break it down, if I come over to see you today, Mr. Bailey, and you trying to put me in something I just love in the door over there, trying to give me that nice ride. You got several people in several banks that you deal with, but as Wallace Hunter walk over there with a credit score that's out of this world, you can get me off that lot real good at a payment I can afford, right?
That's right. That's right. So like you said, everybody wants some of it. That's right.
That's the same way it works here. I tell people all the time, it's just bigger numbers.
You also got to do what you said. You got to have a group that when they put that long-term plan into place 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, it's got to hold on and maintain that long-term plan the same way, whether the group changes or the group doesn't change. They got to keep going that direction, because all it will do is increase for the better for the city and everything for them to do that. So I appreciate what y'all do.
And it comes down, and I know a lot of stuff sound corny, but when you put something in place, and a financial institution that working with you and understand what you want, and you don't want to go outside of there, you have a lot of people approach you from the outside, from other people that you may like, and they approach council people as they come in and out all the time. But as a city manager and as a finance director in those places, we have to try to survive and stay with the people that's getting us there. Dance with the girl that went to the prom with you, right? Keep on the horse that you rode in on. It's consistent and it works.
That's right.
Now, Mr. Hunter, all these dollars that we obtain go back into the general treasury, is that right?
No, sir. It's a matter of not having to pay those. And this, when you're refunding, it's a matter of not having to pay that. And we don't borrow, or you have an option that when you save that, you could pull that money out and use it somewhere else. We don't want that. We want our debt to go up because our ratio at that time becomes better for us. Am I correct, Mayor?
Yes, sir. Spot on.
We're putting the debt out the way. I love this part. This is my best part of the job. I love seeing this. It's the
critical part too.
This is fun right here, because the most fun part of it is being able to bring in the additional funds to maintain our city, pay our workers, and make sure we can compete in that market and put up reserves, things that we've never been able to do to get to this point. And, and doing things that are changing, as people go in and out, city managers, finance people, whatever, you want to see this and wonder, can you get to this point? Well, we've got to a certain point and we got to maintain a
Hey, you went there, Wallace.
Yeah, I have.
Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. I hear everybody.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you hear me now, Mayor?
You went silence again.
Oh, okay, I'm still.
Well,
y'all
let me
hear
say this, council. 0.1% when you're talking about millions of dollars make a huge difference. Am I right, Labrita?
Yes, sir, that's right.
That's what I like to hear. Okay.
Hello? Are we back live?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Everyone, can we hear you?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Can everyone hear?
Yeah, you messing with us on your birthday?
Mike, did we have a glitch? Look like everything frozen.
Um,
Y'all can hear me?
yeah, we
But I
can.
can't hear them.
You can hear us?
No.
You probably on mute.
No, I'm not on mute.
Can they hear you now?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
But I guess I can't hear them.
Yeah,
I just heard Arthur.
It look.
Say something, Steve.
Yeah, you're trying to freeze up, it looks
Really?
like.
Arthur? Vicky, I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
We can hear you fine. You might want to put some water in it, Mayor. We can hear you fine.
Oh.
Now I can hear.
Okay.
I
You
hear you
hear?
now, Vicky.
All right.
Steve,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can't hear me? Can y'all, everybody else hear me?
It looks like Mayor's internet's freezing up. I mean, I think
We
everybody
have a
else is
glitch.
fine.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Yeah, the mayor looked like he was in slow motion a while ago with the screen.
Mayor, Mayor,
Yeah.
why don't you come in here and sit in front of my computer and I can go on there on the phone?
Okay, I'm coming in. Let me give me a book.
I got it. I got it, Melanie.
Okay.
And y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm gonna go here.
look like you break dancing, but we hear you.
See mine? You see how it just went?
Yeah, just turn yours on.
Technical difficulties. You all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn yours on.
All right.
Let me plug this in.
That's a glitch. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
What I was saying, when you're talking about millions of dollars, 0.1% makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Should be on.
You good?
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I can hear you.
All right, I'm sorry to have a glitch. What I was saying, even a tenth of a percent makes a huge difference when you're talking about millions of dollars. And that's why this is, we're approving this one. Because as Ms. Labrita said, the percentage changed. Okay, any other questions or comment, discussion? So we'll go ahead into the board appointments. That's okay, council?
Yes, sir.
All right, so on the board appointment, we have the zoning adjustment.
It's in the office.
Beg your pardon?
There's stuff going on in the office.
Huh?
You still echoing?
I don't know what's wrong. But council, under the board appointment, zoning and adjustment and appeal board, 2 openings. We have a Johnny Hubbard and a Brooks Halford.
It was this.
It is that was?
It was, yeah, I got it. It's
Okay,
good.
all right. Again, Melanie has already set us up for some interviews today, starting at 5. So we do have we got about 15 minutes or 16 minutes. Okay, council. So
Okay.
we to act on that. And I thought Brooks Halford didn't want to. These are the 2 that are stepping down, correct?
Right,
Yes.
So we do have 2 that we will be interviewing today.
right. And it's not neither one of these.
It's not, okay, exactly. So we will be doing those interviews. So we're gonna need someone after we do the interviews. So we're gonna have to have a council member to do the nominations, which I will open up. So we all can decide that. Because we only have two persons, right, Melanie?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so we're interviewing, so, both of them is gonna be appointed.
Mayor, at what time do we determine which one's gonna be the first alternate and the other one's gonna be the second alternate?
The first name that was turned in.
Who was?
No,
Come on. Let's see who does the best interview.
Okay,
All right, that's the fair way to do it. You all agree?
we can. If that's legal, I guess that's fine with me.
Rest of the council? That's
Oh,
okay.
that must be illegal what I said then.
Yeah. So who does, and we'll vote on who was the first and second. We'll vote on that. Okay? All right, y'all okay with council?
Yes.
All right. Then on the license application, we have the first reading. Now, you all bear with me, and I'm gonna have to apologize on these names, cause unless Sean can pronounce them. But anyway, I'm gonna give it my best and apologize to the persons on tomorrow. This is a first reading. We have an application for an off-premise beer license and an off-premise wine license submitted by Ramachandra Patel and Dashra Blah Patel for Sri. I'm gonna have to apologize 2 or 3 times tomorrow.
Yeah, you did pretty good on the first name on the first one. But that Dashra Tabi or whatever, I'm like you, that's a little hard.
Patel for Sri
Tatanga.
Kana LLC, doing business as Snack Attack, located at 3764 Opelika Road, Phenix City, Alabama. We will ask for the reading, the first reading, and I ask for a motion in a second to put on first reading. But I am going to have to apologize on the pronunciation of those names tomorrow. And then on the B is the first reading. It's an application for an off-premise beer license and off-premise whiskey and wine license, retail package store, submitted by Russ Machandra Patel and Dashra Patel for Sajana LLC, doing business as Alabama Spirits and Wine, located at 3664C Opelika Road, Phenix City, Alabama. So we will ask the clerk for the first reading, and we will ask for a motion and a second to place on first reading, council. Is all mind clear on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you all let me know as far as those names, but I kind of got a sense of I am going to apologize from
Pretty close. It looked like to me.
What's that, see?
I said, sound like you did pretty close to me. It looked
Yeah, but I'm
good
gonna
to me.
apologize before I say it, because it may not come out that way tomorrow.
When I go out there to that business for something, I'm gonna say, is Mr. and Miss Patel here? I can promise you I won't be on no first name basis, because I'd mess that all up.
And
I'm
then
very good,
after that, council, we're gonna turn it over to our city attorney, Jimmy.
yes, sir. Mayor and council, we've got 3 claims on the agenda today or for tomorrow. The first one is by Sheila Williams Townsend. She alleges that she was crossing First Bridge on Sanford Road past the sanitation place and met a truck that knocked the the mirror off of her vehicle. She submitted 3 claims, but we have done an investigation. I've spoken with the chief on this, and you've got the memorandum from Angel that the woman basically stated to the state trooper that a utility truck was too close to the center line and hit her mirror, caused it to be damaged. And as Angel notes, the Public Works Department did not have anyone in that area. as this is outside of the Phoenix city limits.
Mhm.
So she really assumed, I think, that it was a city truck because in reading the action report, she doesn't specifically say that she identified it as being our truck. Based on all of that, my recommendation is to deny the claim.
Okay.
And the second claim is by Tellus Weaver, lives at 608 22nd Avenue. And he hit a pothole that damaged his tire or made it completely pop. Again, if you look at the memorandum from Angel, we had repaired that, but with cold patch, but it had worn down and was fixed on Friday the 15th, 2021, and he hit it on December the 29th, 2020. So based on that, I'd recommend that he had submitted 3 claims, the lowest being 177.54, and I would recommend we pay that claim in that amount.
Okay.
All right, and then the third one is Curtis Cook. And this is another one of those claims where we only have one estimate, but the reason is he thought that, or we told him that it was on his side of the line, and it come out to be that our main was what was stopped up,
Mhm.
and we're reimbursing him for the plumber that he called.
Yeah, it seems like he acted in good faith too.
Yeah, and the thing about it is,
He did.
when you get a situation like that,
Mhm.
you know, there's no way you can go back and get 2 more claims.
Yeah.
This would be an exception to what we usually require.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'd recommend that we pay this claim, and so does the memorandum, in the amount of $200 to reimburse him for his cost of his plumber.
Up or down, Rain?
Okay. Wallace, did you get it working?
Yeah, I'm just saying, me and Melanie tag teaming.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Before we have 7 minutes. So Melanie, are those persons going to call in or Zoom in?
Hey, Mayor, I will call them when y'all are ready. Mike will have to fix the thing where nobody's in there but the ones that are going to be there for the interview.
Yeah.
And then he'll let me know when that's ready, and then I'll phone the first person, and then they'll come in through the internet, and Mike will allow them in.
So who's coming first?
The first one will be Mr. Rudolph, I believe.
Yeah, I saw
Martin,
that.
Rudolph Martin.
Yeah, okay. I did see that. Where did I see that at? Oh, I saw that over in the for the
Front part of my book.
front part of it. Yeah, Rudolph Martin. Yeah. Okay.
All right, look, do we just stay online, or are we going off and then coming back?
I would recommend that. Talking very dangerously. Do we get off and get back on?
Y'all need to stay on.
We stay on? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Let Mike pick off who you don't need on. Yeah.
you're going to delete everybody else except Jimmy, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And yourself, because we definitely need you.
Yes, sir.
All right, council, all minds are clear?
Yes.
Anything, council? You want to add or take away? Arthur, Griff, Vicky, or Steve?
Yeah.
Which one?
You all minds are clear?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have 6 minutes, so we would stay on, so
Okay.
all
You didn't go over that.
No.
take a break. Yeah.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, but we've added a resolution under the city manager.
Oh, okay.
This is about from Chattahoochee Timber Company to harvest some timber. I think Angel could probably explain that better. I don't know if she's still with us.
No.
I emailed it out earlier. I hope everybody saw it. Basically, I think it's where the city received some bids for the harvesting of the timber on the 57 acres that's going to be part of the landfill. And so the company that we had handling the bids has recommended going with Chattahoochee Timber Company.
Okay. That's a consulting group, what you're talking about, that we just talked about, Council.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you go.
Oh, Angel, there you are.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. The resolution under the city manager. You wanna go ahead and explain that?
Yes,
Mel-
sir. That is, we talked about getting the timber cut out there on our new landfill expansion site.
Uh-huh.
This is the process that we're going through. We contracted with a consultant to get the timber harvest. They have done the bids, and three people bid on the project, and that was provided to us. And based off of their professional opinion, it was decided that the Chattahoochee Company was the best one for us to go with.
Okay.
All right.
And Melanie Council, Melanie will have that for us in the morning. She's already emailed, but I hadn't even had a chance to look at my computer.
Yes, sir. And we are trying to get this done as quick as we can because due to weather limitations and everything else and everything being so wet, the quicker that the contractor can get in on site, the better off that we are to get this done so we can start the construction of the landfill.
Okay. We all council, we all hear that?
Yes.
Okay. And as Melanie spoke, she said she's emailed it out, but I hadn't, but she'll have copies in the morning, correct, Melanie?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So council, we have about 3 minutes before we start the interviews. So I guess everyone except for Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Mayor,
Yeah, Mr. Hunter.
I gotta say something.
Okay.
Okay, you got, it's about the CDC recommendations, what they're recommending about shots. I just want to inform about, you know, about shots and stuff like that. We talked about it earlier, but I just want to inform you all, it's a lot of people who don't want to take the shots. So we're having to do things even here to encourage people to take shots and try to get to this herd immunity, to try to encourage people. So as many people as you can talk to, but the percentages are difficult right now as far as people wanting to take these. So we are having some tough times, you know, and you can't force people into these things, but at the same time, it's not so easy. I just want to let y'all know that.
Yeah, because it needs to be a certain population before the herd immunity can take place, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
But the numbers ain't great. They're not great.
Is that in Russell County? Or
that's even in the city. That's in the city of Phenix City with our workforce.
Oh.
So you're talking about city employees, basically.
That's correct.
Okay. Well,
so we're looking at different programs to encourage and try, you know, because, you know, it can be difficult. So I just wanted to inform you all of that. So we're working on it though and working with it. So
that's all you can do.
That's all. Exactly.
But they see the track record, you know, of 3 employees, you know, that couldn't recover from this right here at our city. It ought to really not be a big decision to have to make when, you know, I'm assuming that I haven't heard of anybody that's taken the shot that, you know, has passed away from. So that to me, I can understand, you know, some skepticism, but I just can't believe all the smartest people in the world that are taking these shots. You know, I just got to believe that they know what they're doing. So I'm going to fall in line as soon as I can get my 1 and 2 shot.
That's right.
So am I. So am I. I'm waiting on it.
We're trying to
I'll take one this afternoon if I can get it.
Yes, sir. We're trying to encourage, but I can tell you it's difficult. And it's not just here. It's other places too.
Oh, it's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not, you know, so it's not isolated here. I guess y'all got a short time now. Just our time for this.
Yeah.
Is it okay to
That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Juan.
Is it okay to stop recording now?
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and have the availability for Mr. Martin.
Okay.